Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that sometimes your breathing feels completely normal and other times you just cannot get enough satisfying breath? You want to breathe more deep and more often. Maybe before a period, maybe when you're stressed, maybe you wake up tired, even after a full night of sleep and you think, is something wrong with me? Well, here's something almost no one tells women. We actually breathe differently than men. And for many years, most breathing research was done mostly on men. So today we are going to talk about how female breathing is different, why it's matter, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Hi, my name is Elvira Wright. I'm a pharmacist with more than 30 years of experience in healthcare. I call this sickness industry. And today I teach the Buteyko breathing method. My passion is helping people discover what I call the inner pharmacy, the incredible ability of the body to restore balance using simple tools. And one of the most powerful tools we have is something we do 20,000 times a day, breathing. But breathing for women is actually very unique. Our bodies are built a little different. So first, let's talk about structure. Our lungs are usually a bit smaller, our airways a little more narrow, and our rib cage is shaped differently. Even the main breathing muscles, the diaphragm, is slightly smaller in women. So what does it mean? It simply means the air has to move through smaller spaces, so breathing can be sometimes feel like a little bit more, goes with a little bit more effort, especially during exercise or when we are stressed or when we are tired. So nothing wrong with us. Our body is just designed differently. A lot of time people also ask, do women breathe faster than men? The answer is not necessarily. Breathing has two parts. First, how often we breathe and how big each breath, the volume. Most healthy adults breathe around 8 to 10 times per minute with the 500 milliliters of air coming in. But because we as a women have smaller lungs, it feels a little bit different. It's how whole breathing pattern works. Now, here's where what gets very interesting. Our breathing actually changes during the menstrual cycle or after menopause as well. Breathing has a hormonal rhythm. For example, after ovulation, the hormone progesterone rises and naturally stimulates the breathing. So during the second half of the cycle, many women notice they breathe a little faster, they feel like they need a deeper breath, or they feel slightly short of breath. This is especially common a few days before a period. And many women think something is wrong with their lungs, but often it's simply hormone affecting breathing. Once you know this, it suddenly makes a lot of sense. And for postmenopausal women, there is also some changes in hormonal breathing. Women are often more sensitive to breathing changes. It's another interesting fact. So even small changes in the breath can make us feel more things like dizziness, anxiety, tightness in the chest, and fatigue more often. And there is an important part. Many people think they feel this way, they need to take bigger breath. But honestly, this makes things worse because the real issue is often over-breathing, not under-breathing. What the body actually needs is calmer, quieter breathing, not bigger breath. So what about hormone and asthma? Breathing conditions can also show up differently in women. For example, asthma is more common in adult women than in men. And many women notice the asthma symptoms get worse right before the period. Why? Because hormones affect the airways in the lungs. Pregnancy and menopause can also change breathing. What about breathing and pain? Breathing can also influence how the body experiences pain. So conditions like fibromyalgia or jaw tension are much more common in women. And interestingly, many of these symptoms get worse during certain phases of the cycle. When breathing becomes fast or shallow, muscles have become more tense and sensitive. This is why learning calm, relaxed breathing can sometimes help to reduce pain, fatigue, poor sleep, muscle tensions. Breathing is also closely connected to sleep and anxiety. Before menopause, women are less likely than men to develop sleep apnea. But after menopause, the risk goes up significantly. Hormones, again, play a role. Women also experience an anxiety and panic attack more often than men. And breathing patterns are often part of that story as well. When breathing becomes too fast or too deep, it can take the nervous system feel like it's in alarm mode, fight and flight. But when breathing becomes slow and quiet, the nervous system can relax. What about exercise and breathing? Even during exercise, women's breathing works a little differently. Because airways tend to be smaller, breathing during intense exercise can feel more demanding. But this doesn't mean women perform worse. It simply means breathing efficiency becomes very important. When breathing is relaxed, nasal, and controlled, the body can perform much better. So what is the solution to all of this, what we discuss? No bigger breathing, no forcing deep breaths. The real goal is functional breathing, which means breathing that is light, slow, through the nose, and relax. This type of breathing helps support better sleep, calmer nerves, better focus, more energy, improve exercise tolerance, and also makes breathing feel effortless instead of exhausting. Why this matter for women? Because women go through so many hormonal transitions, monthly cycles, pregnancy, menopause, stress, motherhood. Learning how to stabilize breathing can help with sleep problem and anxiety, asthma, fatigue, shortness of breath, give you energy. Your breath can become one of the most powerful tools you have to support your health. If you would like to learn more about breathing and how to improve it, I invite you to join my free educational Telegram channel, Inner Pharmacy. And if you want deeper personal guidance, you can also work with me through my private one-on-one Inner Pharmacy program. All the links are below. And remember, your body already has incredible healing intelligence. Sometimes the first step is simply learning how to breathe again.